Hello everyone, if you're new here, welcome. Sorry, I put lip gloss on like a while ago and for some reason I just noticed that in the camera, in the camera it looked like it was all over my face, but it's not. All good. I digress. Anyways, welcome. We are at the time of filming officially in the year of the fire horse. Not gonna lie, the first day kicked my ass. Total fucking disclosure here. Full disclosure. First day, which was yesterday. Actually, today is February 18th. Fire horse came in on the 17th. Yay. And I had massive vertigo. Like, I was so lightheaded. I couldn't concentrate. I literally could not do anything. I slept and I barely ate. Like it's no joke. This energy, y'all, this year is no joke. And that if you're sensitive, especially if you're sensitive to earth energy or you have any sort of shamanic lineage in you, or you've been guided to some sort of shamanic lineage, that is coming out very, very strong. Like right out of the gate here, like no bones, no mucking about, no, like things are coming to fruition. I'm just setting up some candles. Should have done this before, but here we are. Yeah, so I had wanted to do some filming and talk more about the fire horse and all this, and it landed me flat on my, you can fill that in. Flat, like no, like I said, no bones. It was absolutely awful. And I wasn't the only one. There was a lot of people I know who, all of them really the transition, that energetic transition was definitely more difficult for them. Definitely. Okay. So right out of the gate, this, by the way, is a deck that I am currently testing, that I made myself. So we're going to test it in this reading. Before we begin, I always start with a prayer. Always, no matter what. If you're new here, welcome. This is how we do things. I always do a quick kind of energetic wash, I call it, and then I do a prayer. Okay, so let's get into this. I've placed my cards differently. I kind of have been working on redoing my office, and so cards are in a little bit of a different spot, so I had to pull out a lot of decks so that I could see some of my other decks, because no bones reading. What does this collective need to know? What do they need to ask? We start off 111 might be, it's really interesting because we're also in the year of the one. Okay, 2026 is the year of the one. One is all about leadership. It's about moving forward. It's about stepping into your power. Okay, 111 could also be a sign from spirit for some of you in this collective. Okay, that would be something else. Okay. What is the shadow work that needs to be done? What healing are you avoiding, and what discomfort are you struggling to sit with? Okay. Because we're in the transitionary phase at the time, I usually say that a full transition between elements, between spirits, between times in your life, there's usually a minimum of like a 2-week transitionary gap. I would say, where it's kind of this, you're not fully in the energy of the fire horse yet, but you're not fully in the wood snake. You're kind of in that in between. Okay, it's the same when you have New Year's, wherever you are in the world, however you choose to celebrate New Year's. For me, I celebrated Lunar New Year's. And so again, it's that kind of transition, right? During the time of my New Year's, there's a lot of holidays that I celebrate during that time period. And so when you're in that time period, that's when you need to really focus on, okay, what is it that I've been avoiding? What needs to be tied up? What needs to be tied up in terms of your healing, in terms of physical things maybe that might need to be tied up? So this would be things like maybe finances or contracts that need to be signed. What needs to be tied up though? Okay, what discomfort are you struggling to sit with? What is it that you've been procrastinating and avoiding? And how can you get that done during this transitionary period, so that when we're in fully that energy of the fire horse and now it's starting to really pick up, you're able to fully embrace that energy. Okay, there's also a message here: you will be successful, but don't forget to put in the work. Okay, there's two types of spirituality that you're going to see online. I know I'm digressing a little, but just please bear with me. I'm going to circle this all back around. There is the traditional, typical love and light spirituality. Okay, that type of spirituality is typically what a lot of practitioners kind of have stepped into, especially over the past like 10-15 years. There's been a lot of this whole love light type of spirituality. Oh, everything is for the highest and greatest good. There's no negativity. All spirits are good. You don't need to worry about anything. And I think a lot of people get really, I want to say caught up. That's not really the word I'm looking for. But especially in the beginning, there's this kind of allure that can sometimes be presented, but it's also not that realistic. Okay, this whole love and light spiritual bypassing that goes on is not realistic. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because for a lot of you, you need to get real with yourself, and you need to sit and you need to do the healing, and you need to go, okay, it's not all love and light. Okay, that's spiritual bypassing, and we're not about that game. The fire horse isn't about that game. That energy is not going to hold. That energy is not holding here. It's not holding. So what is it that you have not healed? What are you avoiding healing? What are the boundaries that you are avoiding placing? Okay, cut those cords. Let the past stay in the past. Okay, you can't move forward if you're still thank you. And top card, thank you. You can't move forward if you are still in the old energy. You can't move forward if you place the boundaries, but then don't cut the energetic cord. Why is this so important? I really want to talk about this for a second. Why is this so important? Why is it that it is so important that everyone talks about, oh, set the boundaries, or, oh, make sure that you have, said your truth, you're authentic, da-da-da-da-da-da. What people forget to say as the follow-up to that is you need to cut those cords. You need to separate your energy from their energy, because it doesn't matter the boundaries you set if you don't remove your energy from that space. It doesn't matter the boundaries you set if you don't disconnect your energy from that person, from that situation, from those people. That energy is still going to stay there. It's still going to be there, and it's still going to create a problem. And you're going to repeat those patterns again and again and again as you're trying to transition into this new energy, as you're trying to transition into this new space. Okay, you're going to run into that problem. You're going to run into that thing again and again and again and again and again. So cut those cords, separate that energy. You don't need to be aggressive about it. Okay, you don't need to be aggressive, but you definitely need to go. You need to say, I'm not part of this energy. I'm not part of this story. You can think what you want about me. You can say what you want about me. You can do. whatever you want and claim that I was the villain in your story. Okay. And for some of you, you were the villain in someone's story. And you need to accept that. Some of you really need to accept that. Okay. I have a card here. Some of you aren't going to like this card. I was already told. There is right and there is wrong. There is truth and there is fiction, and truth stands alone. This collective, you've been speaking the truth, but you haven't had that truth received very well. And that's where I feel like this collective is struggling. And that's also why this collective, it's super important that you need to go cut cords. Okay, there's loads of meditations. I'm currently working on one, creating one myself. Won't be out for a little bit, so don't think that this is going to happen within the next, month. But I'm currently working on with my spirit team, trying to devise a meditation to cut cords, to fully cut cords and to integrate your energy while making sure that external energy is separated. There's a lot of YouTube videos. I do want to say that a proper cord cutting is no 10-minute situation. Okay? You've been lied to. Sorry. But you've been lied to. A proper cord cutting is not a 10-minute situation. It's not I'm going to sit for 10 minutes. Okay, one and done, and that's it. A proper cord cutting is going to be 45 minutes to an hour. You need to really make sure that all those cords are cut, that all that energy is removed, that all of your energy that has been caught in that cord is called back to you, and not only is coming back to you, but is integrated in your energy. It's not just enough to call back that energy. You need to actually integrate that energy, your own energy, cleanse it, and reintegrate it back into your energetic field. Okay, you're not a Pokemon. I don't know how many of you used to play Pokemon. I have, I don't know why this is coming up, but this is so funny. I'm going to use this example that they're showing me. If you ever played the old Nintendo, the handheld Nintendo, like the Game Boy Pokemon games, and the first gen, second gen Pokemons, okay, there was a Pokemon, and it was called, I think, Oddish. It's like a grass type Pokemon, and it looks like a little seedling, almost like an onion sprout, actually. Okay, is the name of it. It looks like Oddish. Actually, let me look it up for you, just to make sure I'm telling you the right thing. I'm going to show you, for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, and you think I'm crazy. I am crazy, but not always. Okay. This little guy. Let me pull up images. Oh, come on. Okay. You guys see this? Do you guys see? Okay. So it was like a little sprout. And if you played the Nintendo Game Boy Pokemon game, okay, there was a move where Oddish is going, and I forget what the move is called, but essentially it takes the energy out of, Oddish takes the energy from the enemy, right? The other Pokemons, takes the energy away, right? That's kind of what you're doing, is you're taking that energy, but it's not enough to just take it and have it dissipate somewhere, right? You want to take that energy and you want to integrate your own energy back in with it. Okay, it's a little bit different, but they're kind of showing me that thing where the cord is here, your cord is connected, you cut the cord, and a lot of people go, okay, the cord's gone. But you forget that the cord holds your energy. So when you are discarding the cord without bringing your energy back, you're discarding your own energy in that process. We don't want to discard your own energy in that process. We want our energy is our energy. We want that back. We don't want to be giving it away to people. So there's a huge message here of understanding that, yes, you cut the cord, but make sure you're pulling your energy out of that cord first, okay? And they're kind of showing me this Oddish. Okay, if you have no clue what I'm talking about, go YouTube it, okay? Go YouTube, I don't know what you would YouTube, but maybe it'll come to me later. They're showing me you're pulling your energy out, then you cut that cord, and whatever's left in that cord isn't your energy. Now your energy is back, okay? It's not integrated yet, but that energy is back to you, and you are letting that cord go. You're saying, okay, that energy is not mine. I don't need it. I don't really care for it. I send that energy back to the person or back to the land with peace and love, but it's not mine. And I'm not responsible for it, and I'm not taking it on as mine, and I'm not responsible for doing and being in charge of that. Okay. And then you've got your energy that you have now pulled out of that cord that you need to cleanse, that you need to make sure is in a neutral state. If there's something in that energy that you need to work for, now this is getting quite advanced, by the way. So if you're not this advanced, that's okay. But you at least need to cleanse that energy, and then you need to integrate that energy back into your energy center, back into your core, back into your aura and your chakra system. That energy needs to come back in. Okay. This is not a like one and done 10-minute type of cutting your cord situation. This is a ritual. You need to allot an hour for this collective. Okay. This is not some, like, this is not one of those. And I think this is again why I'm bringing up, and I keep thinking of that love and light spirituality, because the love and light spirituality does believe in the kind of like, oh, you just do this 10-minute ritual and then it's one and done. It's over with. Okay. And that's not the case. That's not actually the reality. It's not done with. You have just decided to block it or cloak it. Really interesting that I'm saying cloak. To cloak it in this other thing. Okay, but you're not actually handling it. Okay, and doing that in and of itself is a form of spiritual bypassing, right? So there's this massive message. I know I've already ranted about cutting your cords for like 10 minutes. We're not even deep into the message. It's going to be a long reading, y'all. There's this message of needing to I'm getting mixed signals, so we're going to do this deck. Needing to really hone that out, really clear your energy, really clear your aura, really balance your chakras, really cut those cords and make sure that all that energy is reintegrated back into you, just your energy. Some of you are going to want to call in your guides to help you with this. Some of you are going to want to call in some of your ancestors to help you with this. Okay, there's some major stuff that needs to be happening here, and for some of you this will trigger this shadow work, because the energy you're bringing back is going to be energy that either in this connection was harmed or was hurt in some way, and you're going to need to work through that energy in that process. Okay, and then I also pulled out life is meant to be lived. Okay, I know we just talked about, I just spent the past like 15 minutes talking about these really heavy things, but here's your reminder that life is meant to be lived. Okay, it's not meant to be constantly stuck in this rat race. It's not meant to be stuck in this, he said, she said, in this drama. This collective, you ain't got time for that. You don't have time for that drama, okay? You don't have time for that bullshit. Yeah, conflict, defeat. You've had people, and again, this is why you need to cut those cords. This collective, you've had people who've been talking smack about you. You've had people where you've spoken out, you said your piece, and that's created conflict. And you feel like, okay, what's the point? What's the point? Why am I still doing this if you obviously don't care? Why am I still doing this? Why am I still going through with this? Okay, this is, by the way, might be part of the shadow work as well. Okay, we've got transformation, change taking place. This for this collective is really an internal transformation. It's a transformation of your mindset. It's a transformation of how you go about telling the truth in the future. It's not saying that you shouldn't tell the truth. I really want to clarify that. Okay, the truth stands alone, and the truth will always show itself, right? You can say your piece, you can say the truth. The truth will always show itself. People will show who they truly are in the end. But a lot of this transformation type energy that's coming through here, I'm really getting is more of an internal transformation. It's resetting your mindset. It's resetting how you view things. It's resetting the way that you view people or situations. And it's also just not giving a damn. You're not you don't even care anymore, right? This people pleasing tendency. Yeah. Excuse me. Do I need more coffee? Probably not, but I like it. This people pleasing tendency. Some of you are learning to speak your voice. Okay. The stuttering, say what you need to say, even if you stutter. That's what I'm hearing. Say what you need to say, even if there's a struggle, even if you're stuttering, right? Still say your piece. Even if you're frustrated, even if you're crying, still say your piece. Still communicate those things, okay? Because this collective, you've really dealt with a lot of people pleasing. You've dealt with a lot of people pleasing tendencies. You've dealt with a lot of people pleasing behaviors towards other people, and you're transforming out of that. You're changing that. Enough's enough. That's not going to hold. In this coming energy of the fire horse that we're transitioning into, that's not holding. It is not holding, okay, at all. Okay, shine your light and create. It says fertility, but I'm being told shine your light and create. This collective, you've been dimming yourself far too much. Well, why are you doing that? Why? What is going on that you're dimming your light? Enough's enough. You're not here to dim your light. You're here to spread the light. Okay? You're not here to dim your light. You're not here to dim who you are. You're not here to be less of a person. You're here to spread it. Okay? The way that I feel like this collective is going to do that is through creation. Okay? New ideas, new foundations, new roots. Creation. Creating things. Okay? Some of you, this is going to be physical. Some of you, this is going to be things like offerings. Okay? For some of you, this is going to be spiritual. That's interesting. I just heard, for some of you, this is going to be, and I was going to say like online, like it's going to be like digital. And then instead I heard spiritual, right? It's a spiritual creation that this collective is working on creating, working on bringing to the forefront. Okay. But you need to be fully in your light when you do this. You need to be fully embodied in your authentic, true self without any shame, without these people-pleasing tendencies. Yes, there's going to be people in your life who are not, they're not connecting. They're going to call you crazy. They're going to say that you're just making it up. They're going to say you're projecting because they project. Okay? Because they can't tell the difference between intuition and projection. You know this collective, let me be really clear. This collective, you know the difference between intuition and you know the difference between projection. And this collective can tell when they're focused on their intuition and when they're projecting. You can reflect and you could go, oh, I was a little bit projecting there. And you can also reflect and go, that was bang on intuitive information and they didn't like it, but there was no projection there. Okay, this collective, you have that awareness. You're psychic as fuck. This is not a joke. Like this collective is intuitive AF. You're psychic AF. You've got it. You've got it. Okay, you need to just trust yourself more, which you're doing. Victoria, this collective, y'all. Okay, look at. Let me just clarify something here. If you've been struggling the past, like, hearing 3 to 5 years with getting certain things off the ground. This could be with getting like a business off the ground. This could be with getting a relationship off the ground. This could be maybe things have been rocky in your business or your relationship or your job or your living situation, even for some of you. This year is the year that you get to toot your own horn. This is the year that you get to go, hey, I'm not in the shadows anymore. This is who I am. This is where I am. Look at what I've created. Okay, not in it. I really want to say this too. This isn't going to be in like an egotistical way where you guys are going to be like, look at me, I did this. That's not what this collective is about. Okay, so I want to make that distinction because there's going to be people who are going to try and tell you, they're going to try and gaslight you, saying that you're being cocky, saying that you're being egotistical, saying that you're being too much, that you're too much, you're too proud. That you're being, that you're flaunting too much. They're going to be offended by it. You're not flaunting too much. This collective doesn't, if anything, the energy that I'm getting from this collective is you're so humble that you're going to say your piece. You're going to say, oh yeah, I did, this amount of dollars in sales this month. And you're going to say this to someone, and they're going to be the ones going, wait, what? You did what in sales? You managed, and you're going to be like, yeah. And this collective is going to be the one that's going to brush it off. And it's going to be the people that you talk to that's going to be like, wait, hold on. You didn't have that a month ago. Why are you being so chill? Like, good job. Congrats. You're going to have people that are going to be there that are going to remind you that this is massive accomplishments. And then you're going to feel more confident coming forward and speaking out more to specific people. For some of you, this is going to be partners. Some of you, this might be siblings. Some of you, there's going to be friends or people. No, I don't want to say acquaintances. There's going to be friends. There's going to be people coming in. God's going to put people in. Okay. There's going to be people that are going to come in that God is placing there that is going to be your cheer squad. Okay, they're going to be the people who are there to remind you that these are big accomplishments and you should be partying. You should be proud of these accomplishments. You should be proud of the transformation that you went through to get to the success that you now have. You should be proud of these things happening, because there's still going to be people, and you're always going to deal with people who are like this. This is never going to change. You're never going to not have someone who's a hater. There's going to be people, though, who are going to be massive haters, and they're going to try to gaslight you, and they're going to try to downplay your achievements. They're going to try to downplay what it is you do. They're going to try to downplay what it is. Some of these people are going to lie. They're going to call you frauds. Some of these people are going to say that you're over exaggerating. Okay. There's a message here of moving out of this energy of feeling the need to prove yourself. You're not going to need to prove yourself anymore. This collective does not need to prove themselves anymore. You don't need to prove who you are. You don't need to prove what it is you do. You don't need to prove your business. You don't need to prove your money. You don't need to do that. You just need to do you. There's going to be people who are going to try to get you to prove yourself, though. They're going to gaslight you. They're going to demean you so that you feel like you need to. It's going to be that wound, okay? They're going to try to dim this light that you're spreading, that you've got inside of you that is natural, because they don't have a natural light. Because they're not in this energy. They haven't done the healing. They haven't done the shadow work. They haven't reflected. They haven't done the work, the transformation work. So you're going to be in this light, and you're going to have these creations that are going to start coming. They're going to start making you money. And they're going to start bringing in the success. They're going to start doing the things that you want to do. Some of you are going to have people signing up for something. I don't know. Some of you, this might be a class, a course, but I'm seeing like you've allotted like 20 spaces. There's someone here who's like, you've allotted 20 spaces, and then it's like 200 people sign up, and you're like, oh, like what? Like I only allotted 20. And you're going to have to make some last minute changes to accommodate that, okay? You're going to have to make some last minute changes to accommodate those things. Yeah, throat chakra. What did I say? Speaking up. You guys are learning to speak up, to speak your truth, right? You guys have made sacrifices in the past. Okay, sacrifices regarding your communication. You haven't communicated things in the past. You've kept them to yourself. They've boiled up. Some of you need to watch that. Some of you need to make sure that you're communicating these things before you explode. Okay, you're working on that this year. There's going to be a lot more communication. This throat chakra is going to be opening up a lot. For some of you, this is also, they're showing me a thyroid problem, and what's this? Salivary gland problem. Salivary? Am I saying that right? Salivary gland problem. Okay, so some of you, this energetic blockage might have, to an extent, also led, that's not to say that, like, again, this is not medical advice, disclaimer, okay? Still go get your medical-ish checked. But for some of you, there's been this energetic block that has created thyroid and salivary gland issues. Okay, some of you might have overactive or underactive salivary glands, or thyroids. Some of you might have underactive thyroids or overactive salivary glands. That's what I'm being shown. Right? Some of you might have both, but usually this collective, you might want to, okay, if you've got like a physical problem, that's where it is. And it's because you've sacrificed communicating. You've sacrificed saying what needs to be said. You've sacrificed not speaking your truth, not speaking what you're picking up. This, like I said this before, I'm going to say it again. You guys are psychic as You're psychic AF. Your intuition is on point with this collective. This is a no bones collective. When you know, you know, you know. Okay? When you know, that's that. But you've sacrificed telling people what it is you're picking up for peace, for trying to keep peace, for trying to please everyone. That's not holding no more. There's this massive energy of you need to say your piece, and the consequences of that it just needs to be had. And it's not even necessarily, it's not even always consequences. Like there's this concern with this collective of, oh, there's consequences towards me or consequences towards what I'm going to be doing. I did just drop a pile of cards. Consequences towards what I'm going to be doing. It's not even so much that, it's more of you have subconsciously been protecting other people. You've been subconsciously protecting other people from receiving their karma. You've taken that on because you haven't been saying everything that needs to be said. You haven't been bringing that to light. And so that protection is not yours to provide anymore. That protection isn't, they need to have their karma. There's people that you have protected because you've got a good heart and you've got a good soul, and you really shouldn't have protected them. Honestly, that's not what should have happened. They need to have their karmic justice. They need to deal with the problems that they create through their own actions. You bringing them to light, you bringing those issues to light is not actually the problem, right? And I think this collective, the bringing of issues, let me focus on this for a second. The bringing of issues to light is not the problem. But you've known that the reaction of you doing that is going to create problems. And this collective has worked on saying, okay, well, I don't really want to bring those problems because you didn't want to deal with them. And there's this message here of saying everything's going to show itself in the end. Those problems, no matter what, are eventually going to come out. Do you want to be ahead of them when they come out, or do you want to be side blinded, even though I don't think that's even possible with this collective, because again, your intuition is on point. You all have trust issues with your intuition, and you need to trust yourself more. Okay? That's definitely coming through as well. Trusting your intuition more. And this collective is. Okay, they're showing, Spirit's showing me that you're already trusting yourself more, okay? You've got the foundations. You've got those foundations. Other people don't. And you've been protecting subconsciously, or for some of you consciously, but I'm hearing more subconsciously, you've been trying to protect the peace. And in trying to protect the peace, it's provided this false sense of foundation within certain people. That is going to be done. That's going to be gone. What I also find really interesting that I just noticed, if you look at the sacrifice card, you've got the rainbow. And if you look at this foundations and achievements, you've also got the rainbow. And if I kind of go like this, it kind of completes this rainbow. Can you guys kind of see what I'm getting at here? If I go a little bit like this, kind of have this completion of this rainbow that's occurring. There's sacrifices that always need to be made when you're building your foundation. To achieve the things you want to achieve, there's something that needs to be sacrificed in order for you to achieve those things. It doesn't mean sacrifice is all bad. It doesn't mean that you putting yourself first is selfish or bad, and you've probably been gaslit into thinking it is. It doesn't mean that you prioritizing yourself, your business, your health, your well-being, your relationship is bad. But this collective has been heavily gaslit. I mean, like, you have been heavily gaslit. You've been gaslit about your intuition. You've been gaslit about what you know. You've been gaslit about your own experiences. You've been gaslit about your own relationship. You've been gaslit about your own life, for some of you, your own past. Some of you have even been gaslit about your own traumas that you have been through. And there's a reminder here that all that karma is going to come. All that karma is coming this year. The year of the fire horse, that's not, you don't F with fire, right? You don't F with fire. All of that karma is going to be had. Your foundation is strong though. Your foundation is there, and that's why this collective, you're going to be getting those achievements. You're going to be having those successes. There's going to be people around you who aren't going to understand how you're doing it because they're having their karma come to pass now. They never made those sacrifices and they thought they could have their cake and eat it too. That's not how this works. Everything is a give or take in our world. Everything is a give or take. And you've understood that. You've understood that from the time that you were very, very young, this collective. You've understood that there's been this give and take. Right? That's not new to this collective. But there's other people who thought that they could get around that. Oh, if I just push hard enough. The fire horse doesn't push. Fire horse doesn't push. Okay, it doesn't force. Fire is not forced. Fire moves naturally. You never force a fire. The harder you force, if you've ever tried to make a fire, the harder you're trying to make the fire, the less likely you are to make it. When you relax into the rhythm of, okay, this is how the fire needs to be made, and you relax into that rhythm, and you're not blowing so hard, and you're not providing so much oxygen, you're not pushing for that fire to come, that's when you all of a sudden have a blazing fire that you can cook on and that is keeping you warm. The people around you, those people have been pushing. They've been forcing. That's not holding this year. Okay, from the 17th, which was yesterday at the time that I'm filming this, all the way up to next year. I don't even know when the Lunar New Year is next year, but they're showing me like the 15th of next year. Like February 15th, that whole year cycle, that's not going to hold. That pushing energy isn't going to hold, and that's where you guys are going to thrive here, okay? We've got alignment coming up. Music might be really important for some of you guys, okay? It also says you can do the hard things. I was talking to someone, and I was asking them something about something that I'm working on, okay? And they said, you know, you're almost there, but it's kind of like taxes. No one wants to do their taxes. And it's not particularly difficult, usually, to do your taxes. But we all have to do them. Unless you're fortunate enough to be in a country where you don't. But 99% of countries, we all have to do them. We all have to do our taxes. And there's going to be certain things where there needs to be this understanding. It doesn't mean it's not in alignment just because you're struggling with something. It just means that that particular thing you either need to outsource or you just need to get it done and over with so you can get back into the groove of the things that you really enjoy doing. Okay, we've got creativity coming up here. Use your imagination. Get creative. This collective is super creative and your intuition feeds off that creativity, by the way. We also have another one. I don't know if you guys saw that. Creativity, number 1. Okay. Ones is going to be a huge symbol for this collective. Okay, a lot of you are stepping into that leadership role, into that energy. I'm hearing CEO energy. Some of you might be CEOs, but I'm hearing you're stepping into that CEO energy, that I don't give a damn energy. Okay. We also have self-care. I talked about this. Okay, I talked about this really briefly about putting yourself first, setting those boundaries. Being focused on your health, your well-being, those types of things. Okay, that's your self-care. Okay, in order to maintain your alignment. Okay, and again, there's going to be people who are going to gaslight you about that. Be prepared. There's going to be people who are going to say that's not worth it, or it's not working, or whatever. Right? Yeah, as I was saying that, cut those cords. This is just validation at this point. Cut those cords, let go of what no longer serves you. Some of you are going to be really, or have been recently, really drawn to clearing things out. Getting rid of things. Some of you are getting rid of gifts that you got from certain people because you don't want that energy. You don't resonate with that energy. So some of you are going to be getting rid of gifts that you got from some people. Some of you are going to be getting rid of just this old energy. You need to clear that out, and remembering to clear your energetic space, not just removing the physical items associated with that, but also clearing the energy as you do that. Okay? Clearing that energy out. Whoa. Slow and steady. Patience is key. Patience is key. This collective, you know what? I feel like what I'm hearing from this collective, okay, as I pull this card up, is, well, I've been patient. This is a reminder that patience is paying off. Patience is paying off. Okay? This year, that patience is paying off. Show me 3 months. 3 months, 4 months, 3 months. Something's going to happen within the next week. Spirit's just telling me something's going to happen within the next week that's going to show you what it is you need to do. It's going to be a validation that you're doing the right thing. There's going to be validation that you're on the right path. I pulled this deck out. So I'm going to pull 1 card from this deck. Maybe more. We'll see. This collective. This was the first deck that I saw, but I was told you're going to do this as the reading's closing out, and I feel the reading is closing out. So we're going to pull. Interesting. Thank you. The Wilding. Cutting those cords. There's a lot about cutting cords, a lot about leaving that energy behind, a lot about getting back to yourself, getting back to your roots, getting back to the things that are there. Okay. I was also told the bottom of the deck. The bottom of the deck is Sovereign. Okay, I wanna say something that's might be a little bit controversial, but I think that this collective is going to understand when I say it. Sovereignty is not something you are given. Sovereignty is something that is your God-given right. It is not something that is handed to you. You do not need permission to be sovereign. Sovereignty is your God-given right as a human being on this planet. Okay? This energy here, this wilding and this sovereignty. Okay, also, can we just admire the crown? Putting on your crown. Putting on your crown and the light shining through. Can you guys see that? I know this deck sometimes can be difficult to see. You've got this light shining through here. Okay, putting on that crown and having your light shining through, your light shining out, right? Getting back to yourself, getting back to your nature, getting back into your creativity, into who you are, and into your sovereignty, into your being. There's people that are very jealous that you're doing this. It's not that they can't do it, by the way. It's not that they don't have support. It's not that they don't have the means. It's that they don't want to put in the work to do it. They're very jealous that you're stepping into this sovereignty. They're very jealous that you've got this creativity and you're stepping into this like 3 months. They're showing me that by summertime, your life is going to be very different. Beginning of May to beginning of June, that time period, there's going to be a massive change that's going to be occurring during that time period. Okay? But you need to cut the first. You need to cut all the crap first out, because you can't move forward. You can't take the next steps without cutting that old out. Okay? What healing are you avoiding? Circling back around to the very start when this card came out. Okay? What discomfort are you struggling to sit with? What healing are you avoiding? And what is the shadow work that needs to be done? This has been a really long reading, and I'm being told that I need to leave it there. Okay? Journal on this. Journal on these questions. Meditate on these questions. I will also write these questions in the description box below. Okay? So you can reference them outside of this video. You have them there. You sit with them. Cut those cords. More importantly, cut the cords first. Reintegrate that energy back into you, and then sit with this discomfort. Okay? Then sit with that. Right? 2 weeks, this energy starts really picking up. 2 weeks, things are going to really start moving. You're going to get new ideas. You're going to get new creations. You're going to get new concepts that are coming through in 2 weeks. 2 weeks, you're going to start feeling it. You're going to start feeling that movement. They're showing me, if you've ever ridden a horse, which I've ridden many, they're showing me that lope, that canter, right? Of that moving forward. That moving forward that starts in 2 weeks, okay? Because right now you're kind of in that in-between energetically. We're in that in-between energetically. This energy is coming. 2 weeks, okay? So middle of March, things are starting to now pick up. Things are starting to pick up. Okay? I'm going to leave that there. Thank you so much for watching. If you made it to the end, I know this was a really long reading. Thank you for sticking with it though. And I'll see you all in the next video. Bye. Oh, and don't forget, I keep forgetting to say this. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe. Really helps out this channel. Okay, comment down below. I'd love to have a discussion. Let me know what resonates. Let me know what doesn't resonate. Let me know what changes you're going to be making. Let's talk about it. Okay, bye.